Partner visa forms. Did you know that if you're not completing the right application forms, then you're not really lodging a partner visa? I'm going to talk a little bit about the mandatory forms you need for a partner visa and the non-mandatory forms. Let's start with the big one, the Form 47SP. So what is the Form 47SP? This is the applicant's application form, the person who's actually applying for the visa. You need to complete this form in order to lodge a partner visa. In this form, the department is going to want a whole lot of information. It is a long form, so make sure that you've got a nice cup of coffee or tea before you actually start it. You'll see that the department wants information around your family members, your visa history, your travel history, and importantly, your relationship details. It's only after you've submitted the Form 47SP that your partner can start to complete their sponsorship form, which is known as the Form 40SP. Good news on the Form 40SP. It's a lot shorter than the Form 47SP, so it shouldn't take the sponsor a whole lot of time to complete it. One of my top tips when it comes to completing this Form 40SP is that you complete it right after you've lodged the Form 47SP and paid for the application. That way it won't be forgotten about. Let's move on to the Form 80. If you've done a previous Australian visa, you may have heard about the dreaded Form 80. This is what's known as the character assessment form. Here the department is going to ask you a whole lot of information around your travel history, your employment history, your education history. The Form 80 is a non-mandatory form, but I do recommend that you do complete it at the same time that you're lodging your documents and all the other application forms. The reason for that is that you could be delaying the processing of your application if you don't complete it and the department requests it later on. So you may as well save yourself the time and complete it at the same time as all the other application forms. Form 956. This is another non-mandatory form, which means you don't need to complete it in order to lodge a valid partner visa. But there are some situations that couples find they do need a Form 956. One of those is if the applicant wants to authorize somebody else to act on their behalf. So for example, if the applicant's English might not be so great and they want their partner to receive correspondence on their behalf, then that's when you'll need to complete a Form 956. Or perhaps you have a representative such as a migration agent or lawyer acting on your behalf, then you'll be required to complete the Form 956. The Form 1221 is another non-mandatory form. You don't need to worry about this form if you don't have any dependents over the age of 18 applying for a partner visa with you. So for couples who do have children who are 18 years or older and they want to include them on the partner visa, then they'll be required to complete this form. So where can you find all of immigration's forms? My best advice is go onto the Department of Home Affairs website and get all the forms directly from there. Remember that with the Form 47SP and 40SP, you can't actually download PDF copies. They need to be completed through the IMI account. But all the other forms should be found on the Department of Home Affairs website. That way, you know that when you are completing them, you're completing the latest version of that particular form. Why can't you complete the PDF versions of the Form 47SP and 40SP? That's a great question. So the department moved away from paper applications many years ago. Before, the way you lodged a partner visa is that you would complete a PDF Form 47SP, a PDF Form 40SP, you'd gather your documents, you'd put it all together, and you would post it off to immigration. That's all changed. So everything is lodged electronically now, which means that if you do find a Form 47SP or 40SP floating around on the internet, that's irrelevant. Don't bother completing it because you're just wasting your time. What if you don't have all the information you need to complete your application forms? The Department of Immigration doesn't like gaps in information. So if they're asking for your employment history over the last 10 years, you really need to make sure that you are covering that 10-year period. If you don't know a certain piece of information, for example, if you've done an extensive amount of travel over the last 10 years and you forgot what dates you traveled to Spain, for instance, then it's really in your best interest to still make that disclosure that you did travel to Spain, but you don't remember the particular dates. That way, you won't be perceived as providing any false or misleading information, because if you do, then you could really find yourself in muddy waters. What if you've made a mistake and then you realise that you've made a mistake after you've lodged the application? Well, luckily, you can fix that mistake and you need to do it as soon as possible. The way you do that is through your IMI account. So there will be a tab where you can notify the department that you have provided an incorrect answer or you've made a mistake. So do make sure that you're cross-checking all of your information and you're reviewing all of your forms to avoid a mistake. But in the event that it does happen, you can update the immigration, and you should do as soon as possible. Knowing what forms to complete is super important, but what's even more important arguably is consistency and making sure that the information you're providing across one form is consistent with another form, and that also marries up with the documents that you're providing. If you don't understand a question in the form, or if you're not quite sure where to start, it's really important that you do get immigration advice. Please note that this blog is intended for general information only and does not constitute immigration advice. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you do want to learn more about us, head on over to our website, thepartnervisaacademy.com.au. I'll see you in the next video.